Watch this video to learn how to play Skipping in Space from the Piano Adventures Level 1 lesson book.
This is how it sounds all the way through.
This is the song that we are learning how to play today, Skipping in Space. But before we look at the music here, we have to look at what is above this at the top of the page. Are you ready to face the treble spaces? What you're looking at here is a handy tool to help you know what the space notes are on the treble clef. The space notes in the treble staff spell the word face. It's that simple. Remember, we count our treble staff spaces from the bottom up. And the first space note on the treble staff is F. In space 2, you'll find the letter A. Space 3 is a C. And space 4 is E. That's right, from the bottom space to the top space, these notes are F, A, C, E, and that is how you spell the word face. The keyboard on this page is showing you where these notes correspond to keys on the piano. Remember, every note on the staff belongs to just one specific note on the piano. So the F that we are talking about here is the one that is 3 notes above middle C. The A is 1 skip above that. The C is a skip above that A, which makes it treble C, 1 octave above middle C, and the E is the one right above treble C. Let's head over to my whiteboard to do a little bit of note spelling so that we can practice how you can make this tool of using the word face help you to spell the notes in the spaces of the treble staff. It might not be easy for you to think about those space note names right away in your head, so we can actually write them down on the staff next to the notes that we need to figure out. Let's go ahead and do that for this first note. So I'm going to start in the bottom space and spell face going up, because remember, it starts from the bottom to the top. And we can see that this note is on the same line as the F, which means that this is F. Let's use that same process to figure out the next note. We'll start at the bottom space of the treble staff and spell face going up. Once we do that, we see that this note is on the same space as the C, which means that this is C. Let's do the next 2 notes the same way. For each of these notes, we're going to write the word face next to them, and then we're going to figure out which space they share a letter with. So the third note is A, and this last note here is E. Now we're ready to head back to our book, and we're going to scroll down the page to the song Skipping in Space. You might notice that under each note of the song, there is a blank line. Those lines are there for us to practice our note spelling, and we're going to begin by doing that. Let's figure out what all of the note names are for this piece. We're going to use the same method that we used for note spelling just a moment ago. So beginning with this first note, let's write the word face next to it so that we can determine which letter it is. That's a letter F. Can you figure out the rest of the first line with me? The next note is A, then we go to C, and then we go back to A. Let's jump to the first measure of the second line now. Do you know what those notes are? Yes, they are F, A, C. And if you look at the notes for the next 2 measures, they repeat this pattern. And that very last note is our one lonely E in this piece. Before we jump to the piano to start playing this piece, let's look at the music for some of the key points that will help us as we learn. We'll begin with the time signature. The time signature for this piece is 3/4, which means that there will be 3 beats in every measure, and the quarter note will get a beat. Underneath the music, notice that there is a pedal mark. It says that we put the pedal down at the very beginning of the piece, and we will take the pedal up at the very end. Finally, let's circle our dynamics. This piece is mostly mezzo forte. We see that sign at the beginning of it, but the very last note says that it is piano. This last note also says above the music that it is played by the left hand second finger, which crosses over the right hand. So at the very end of this piece, while you've been holding the pedal down the whole time, you are going to play this quiet E with your left hand, and it's actually that note that makes the song. Let's move to the piano.
So to play this song, we have to make sure that our thumb for our right hand is on F. This is the F just above middle C. Middle C is right here. So go ahead and put your thumb there. Now, in the first 7 measures, the notes that we are going to play are all F with your thumb, A with your middle finger, and C with your pinky. Those are the only notes that are included. There will be no 2 and 4. We won't be playing those at all. The very last note will be played by your left hand. Your left hand is going to come over the top and play this E right here with the second finger. We always use the pointer finger when we are going over the top. And it will play that note really quietly. Counting is probably the most important thing for this song. In the first line, all of the notes are dotted half notes. So we have to remember to count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 for every note, or we could say ta, ah, ta, ah. But in the second line, they move faster. We have quarter notes. They're going to go 1, 1, 1, 1, or ta, ta, ta. Let's play it together. We are going to sight read it based off of everything that we have learned and the notes that we already filled out on the page. Go ahead and take your right foot and push it down on the front of the right pedal, which is the damper pedal. We are going to hold that down for the entire piece. Make sure that your right hand thumb is on treble F. This is the F that is just 3 notes above middle C, which is right here. That will be our first note. I'm going to count in 3 for us to begin. Ready? 1, 2, 3, F. 1, 2, 3, skip. 1, 2, 3, skip. 1, 2, 3, skip back. 1, 2, 3, faster. F, A, C, F, A, C. One more time. Here comes that left hand really quiet. 2, 3. Check your success with this song. Make sure that you are counting 3 beats for every note in the first line and only 1 beat for the notes in the second line up until the very last one. Make sure that you are only playing the skips fingers 1, 3, and 5. Make sure that your last note is played with your left hand, finger 2, very quietly on E, and make sure that you're holding down the pedal all the way through.